we're doing Death Battle tier list with the Tryhard Bros! Yay!
So much excitement.
Yeah.
As the only one who still watches the show, that lack of excitement, I admit, is justified in many scenarios.
Alright, we have like over 150 Death Battles.
Exactly 150.
Oh, Jesus.
Exactly 150.
But,
in fact, the most recent was
D
150.
don't expect this to be a super in-depth video, considering there's so many death battles to go through, and me and Nick haven't seen them all. Luckily, local fanboy Sean Cable over here has watched pretty much all of them, except for some, and he'll give...
is difficult. I'll say fanboy is difficult.
And
I like the show enough to keep watching, but there's definitely ones that have pissed me off, and I would say roughly at least 30% of them.
yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of hate in this one, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
For me. Probably more from these two.
Yeah. But anyway, let's not waste any time. We're gonna jump right into Sasuke versus Hiei. And
not in order.
This is not in order. We're just going by what the tier list gave us. But anyway, we're doing things a little differently because some of us are not familiar with some of these videos. So
characters.
I need to cut you off. I'm gonna be completely real. I only remember like 4 of the outcomes, so I need a lot of explaining.
I remember season 1 through 3, I believe, but like anything over, it's like a select few. So Sean's gonna be more chatty than the rest of us. So anyway, we got Sasuke versus Hiei.
You saw this one, right, Noah?
I did, but I don't remember. Did Hiei won?
Hiei won because he literally has a counter for everything Sasuke has.
Okay.
Like, he's immune to, like, fuck, what is Sasuke's power again? The eye thing.
The Rasengan. No, not the Rasengan. The
not-
Rinnegan. Or
Yeah, like, he's immune to all of that. He's not affected by the fire. He's just overall, like, he was scaled much higher as a fighter. Because Yusuke is, like, also pretty fucking ridiculous. And I believe he was also faster.
Oh, that makes sense. He
pretty much like even like I remember Boomstick was like, wait, what? I thought Sasuke had this, and was like, no, he kind of counters everything Sasuke has, so
yeah,
kind of clear cut.
Alrighty.
I like this one. I'll put it in great. Only because I'm also biased because I don't really like Sasuke that much until Boruto came along, and I do like Yu Hakusho.
Oh, I'm gonna show you how biased I am. I love Hiei because I love Yu Yu Hakusho. Hiei is like one of my favorite characters, and I don't like Sasuke. This is the first S. just for the result alone.
Yeah, basically, like, it even ended, with, because it was that classic, like, they both, like, you know, did that clash attack, and they're, like, further away, is there, like, and then wounds show, but instead of, like, a regular wound, Sasuke literally falls to pieces. Like, he starts, like, crumpling, and then there's a blood splatter as he just down. It was a cool one.
Can I request something for your tier lists? Can you guys, like, make your tier lists smaller? So we got a lot of things to go through, and it's gonna take up a lot of space when you have so many spots.
Is this fine? Do you want me to zoom in more, or?
No, it's fine. It's just like I feel like the basic 5 spots is probably for the best. Like I changed everything that was on the thing from S, A, B, C, D. I mean, you don't have to do that, but it's just
I think if the colors are the same, then it's just going to be like, okay, that means that.
Yeah, I guess.
So I just make it D?
Yeah, sure.
Alright. I'll put this at A then. I like that one. That was a good one.
I have no connection to this, and I don't remember it, so...
Okay.
What those two said.
Should we have one for Nick where it's just like, sure, forgot.
Forgot I didn't watch.
I don't really care. But,
it's gonna be like 90+% of them.
Alright, next we have Scrooge McDuck versus Shovel Knight. I think I watched this one. The Duck did win.
It's probably because some weird stuff in the show happened where he's like, I have a submarine with missiles and something, or I don't know.
Yeah, basically.
But then again,
Personally,
it kind of ties
yeah.
into like the problem of just like versing a cartoon character going off cartoon logic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it also is a thing of, like, a character with a lot more source material.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well.
Like, this was, I think, a joke episode, which, I mean, obviously, because why would Scrooge McDuck be taken seriously in, like, a versus matchup? But, I mean, it's a character who exists in one game versus a show which got a reboot, so it has, like, and also a game. If they stuck it to like just game versus game, I would have gotten it. But like, there was so much more material for Scrooge McDuck. At first, I was like, "Wait, he won?" And then thinking about it more, I was like, he probably has some weird thing that is just like
Yeah.
crazy."
I'm gonna put this at C. I think it was just an okay fight, and this is fanboyism. That's just the theme of today's episode. Fanboyism is that I think Shovel Knight would win in a fight because like Scrooge McDuck has the money to get a bunch of shit, but that doesn't mean he has that shit on him. Well, in Shovel Knight, you get a lot of money to get a lot of gadgets, and he's holding all the gadgets in one space. So I think Shovel Knight should have won.
Like rich guy versus like an adventurer in like the prime of his youth.
Yeah.
It's also like another thing that they do is to make it fair, they remove like certain character aspects, so it like make it so a battle wouldn't happen, which in some ways makes so a character's more likely to win because those like character aspects would make them do things differently. So it's tricky with characters like this because if it's characters that are obviously like, oh, they would probably either fight like super hardcore or try to kill each other, I get it. But like there are characters who are specifically like, I won't kill, and then because of that they might lose a battle or even win a battle, and changing that kind of fundamentally changes things. So it's a tricky tightrope, and I feel like oftentimes they fall off that tightrope into a crowd of angry comments.
Yeah.
This next one.
So I haven't put mine yet. There's one thing that really got to me. That's gonna give it its final rating. Wizard, says glass cow.
What?
I'm sorry. So apparently Scrooge McDuck is from Glasgow, Scotland, and Wizard says glass cow.
Oh.
Terrible. I'm sorry. The name of the place, all right.
I mean, he is the Texan, so what can you expect?
All right. Up next, we got Venom versus Bane.
They even said the only reason they did this fight is because fans requested it, because both have Venom in the name, because that's what Bane uses.
Well, they're also big, bulky guys who, on their first issues, were the biggest threats to their respective heroes. Like, when Bane was a thing, he was introduced with the plan to find out he was Bruce Wayne, and then, he broke the back. And then you got Venom, who pretty much almost did the same thing, but basically, Bane didn't try to reveal who the hero was, but Venom did. So, they're kind of the same character on their first issues, only went about it differently.
It's also another Spider-Man versus Batman in a way.
Yeah.
And it's
Venom won, didn't it?
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It was pretty brutal how it happened, but poor Bane.
I remember this one. I think I liked it a lot, actually.
It was good. It was good. Nick, did you watch this one?
Yeah, I did.
I thought it was pretty good. I'll put it at B.
I also thought it was. I'll put it at great because, like, again, the matchup doesn't make sense. But again, if it really is just like a fan requested thing, then whatever.
It is what it is.
Really
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it is what it is. I really like both these characters. I thought the fight animation was really good. They even type into a lot of stuff that you don't really see Venom do. So, yeah, good job.
Up next, we got Thor versus Wonder Woman. I did not see this one.
I remember seeing this one, and I think I remember who won.
It was Wonder Woman, because her main weakness is piercing weapons. I believe that's what they said. Which I like Thor more as a character, but Wonder Woman's also one of the big three, and the big three are pretty fucking broken.
Yeah, well, not only that, like gods compared to like gods in Marvel compared to like gods in DC are like kind of wonky.
Yeah.
Because if we're talking like base level Thor, then yeah, I can understand where they're coming from. And then also like Wonder Woman has shown multiple times that she can go toe to toe with Superman, which we can get into later. So yeah, I agree with this.
I'm gonna put it at K because I have no. I mean K.
Oh,
C. Putting it at C because I have absolutely no personal interest in this pair up, and I don't care who won. I don't care who lost. Although she's weak to piercing weapons, a lot of people are weak to piercing weapons.
Well, it's the fact that like Wonder Woman as an Amazon is like just her defense and shit like that is incredible, and like the feat that they always go up is the Shattered God feat, which is deflecting like fragments from different sides of the DC universe, which is they've consistently said is fucking gigantic, and stopping it at basically light speed, because comic books.
Anyway.
I'm gonna put it at really good. I like both these characters. I understand what they did, and then other than that, the matchup didn't make sense. Somewhat, and I'm just like, eh. And the damn whatever of it.
Up next, we got Danny Phantom versus Jake Long, the American Dragon.
I watched this and I completely forgot about it.
I watched this and completely forgot about it too. I think Danny won.
Yes, he did. The animation is that kind of ragdoll one, so it was kind of unimpressive, I'll admit. But the two characters being together is kind of like a classic, like, childhood.
Oh,
fight,
yeah.
And it gets some charm for that. It loses a few points personally for me because, who created Danny Phantom? I forgot. What's that jackass's name? But
Butch Hartman. Actually,
yeah.
he didn't make the character design. It was someone else. But yeah, I see where you're coming from.
I remember that because Chad and Ben had a call with him, and like they kind of brought him into one of the podcasts. So he's like talking about, he's like, yes, like Danny won, and I'm just like, that's nice. I still don't like you as a person at all.
Yeah,
I'll probably put it at like high C. Like it was charming, but like I wasn't super into it.
Here's the thing.
I'll go
the only
B.
Reason I put it as okay because it was like, other than it being like, like Disney and Nickelodeon, blah 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 blah, like why these two?
I don't know.
I think it kind of makes sense. The teenage boy that has super secret powers that they need to hide to transform into.
And they have a rival who's part of an opposite group. It's potentially a love interest. Oh, the other
Yeah.
one's as fuck.
Yeah, it makes more sense when you say it out loud. And I didn't watch much of American Dragon, but I remember watching it a lot as a child, and this is like the childhood battle for me. I put it as B. I think it was good. Yeah, I agree about the animation, but that was just early death battle.
They've like, I get why they didn't do like actual like hand-drawn animation, because they've done it a few times. They started with Samurai Jack versus Afro Samurai, which was pretty cool, but it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And the sprite animation is just a little easier, so
all right.
there's already a model there.
So up next we got Yang versus what's his face from that over Aang. Aang. Did I say Yang? Fuck you, Rooster Teeth.
Versus Edward Elric.
Yeah, whatever. Who won this?
It hurts me to say, but Aang won this.
Ha!
S
rank.
Fuck you. I get it. Aang is ridiculous. If we go with Korra too, he's done some crazy shit in his adulthood, but like, and I really like Avatar: The Last Airbender as a franchise, but I'm gonna be honest, I skipped this one because I do like Fullmetal Alchemist more. and I just didn't really want to see Edward die.
I
Well,
like it more, but I can understand this.
I'll put it at C. Like it's another one that like personally hurts, but I get it.
I'll put it at S. This is the best news in my day. No,
Yeah,
just to be fair, I'm putting it at B because it's another fight I wouldn't want to watch, but knowing the outcome, I'll raise it to a B.
you like Avatar?
I love Avatar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I mean, like, I really like it as a show too. But these are two characters I really like. But like, I do like one character a little more, so it kind of hurts. But even then, I probably would have been sad with the outcome no matter what. There's a few of these where I was happy that someone won, but I was still sad that someone lost.
That's fair.
Like that's my biggest problem with Death Battle as a concept. I've talked with Noah about this. Like, I love versus matchups, but if I'm being honest, I would prefer it if it was knockout. Because it feels less stinging.
It means Batman can win.
Yeah, enjoy that huge. Batman currently has the largest loss record.
Yeah.
But like, because there could be characters you really want to see and characters with like an immense personal connection to people. And Death Battle is like, oh, we get to bring people, they get to have people experience these characters, and we get to show fans like the respect. And I'm like, you say that on paper, but you're still killing one of them. No matter how you represent a character or talk about that character, the fact that you killed them in an animation is kind of a punch, and that can't be taken away. That literally can't. It's gonna hurt someone no matter what, and that's why I feel like Knockout would have been better. But Death Battle is a flashy, cool show, so you know it's gonna get more views than just a normal fight. Also, people like violence.
Oh, violence.
Violence.
The next one.
Akuma versus Shang Tsung.
That's an old one.
That is an old one. That's why I remember it. From what I remember, didn't Akuma
When
win?
they still had Akuma did win. Is when they
Yeah.
still had the health bars.
Yeah, I kind of missed the health
Oh,
bars, if I'm being
wow.
honest.
That was a long. I think they stopped
Yeah,
that
I
after
kinda
like the
missed them
fifth
as well.
episode.
I know, but I kind of missed that. Like,
It doesn't add anything, but yeah, it is a.
well, I think it adds
I
something
disagree. I
because
think
do you know what it feels like to me? It feels like you can watch the first 5 seconds of the battle, and then you can skip to the last 5 seconds of the battle, and you would lose nothing. I think having the health bars, you get a sense of progression through the fight.
I would say if like someone's at like low health or something, there's a bit of tension if there's like they're at low health and then all of a sudden they
Yeah.
have, like, a big flurry attack. And it's
yeah,
just like, oh, is there a comeback? Is there a comeback? And then
yeah. That is true, but I've also seen like that visually shown, like a character like loses like a limb or something. You're like, oh shit, they're on their last life, and then they come back with something that we'll come back to that later. That happens exactly in an episode that I know Noah's gonna rank high.
Maybe. But anyway, for this one, I remember this one being a classic, and I just like Akuma a lot, so I'll put it at A.
I'll put it at high B. I like both franchises. I like Mortal Kombat more, obviously, namesake, but I don't really like Shang Tsung that much. I like Shao Kahn more as a villain.
Yeah.
Like he's much more iconic, and even though Shang Tsung's like kind of slimy and shit like that, like it's if it was how they rate it modern wise with the death battle, Akuma would kill him immediately. Akuma's ridiculous.
yeah, why did he win again? I don't remember this one.
Because
punched
Akuma,
violence.
Akuma is just one of the strongest humans in like video games to the point where
Yeah.
he's almost not human.
And one of the things is they with Shang Tsung, when he copies someone, he doesn't perfect them. So he could
No.
copy Akuma, but he
Oh, yeah, no,
could
he
not
can't.
do some of that shit.
He's what's the term called?
Mimic?
No, there was a saying, can use
think,
everything, master of none.
Oh, Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Better than a master of one. That's actually how that ends.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll put it here.
it was cool. It is a classic though.
Up next, we have All Might versus Might Guy.
This is another one that I was talking about earlier of It Hurts, because I like both characters. I like All Might more. And again, the character I like more died.
That's fair.
Personally,
I don't see Might Guy winning, even with the 8th gates.
I didn't see it, so I don't know what the scaling was.
I didn't
watch it either.
I didn't watch it either. I just went off of what you told me.
So, my thing is...
I'm going to give it low B. I'm going to give it low B. I don't agree with the results, but I don't think it was a bad one.
So, wait, I don't know anything about this. All Might lost, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
S rank.
My problem with it is I do think All Might should win because like what he's shown in the anime is his all of it is his weakened state. So like even though we never really see him at like full strength, it should probably be like at least twice as much. Like the dude, I don't know. I get why, because the 8 gates is like, oh, it stopped Madara and he's at light speed and all that stuff, but like from what I know, he did use the 8 gates, so technically they both lost.
Yeah.
Because my guy immediately dies that.
Well, unless Naruto shows up to save him. Nah, it's kind of a duo. It's
Naruto's
a draw.
too busy fighting Ichigo.
All right.
Yeah, that happened.
Anyway, up next we got Amy versus... Fuck, I forgot her name. Ramona Flowers. I'm pretty sure it's because Amy won, right?
Yep. I don't like this one. I don't really care that much for Scott Pilgrim versus the World, but like...
Oh, it's a fun game.
The only experience I have with this is the Deadpool versus Pinkie Pie, which, on spoiling now, is going into S for me, because one of the things they do is they basically travel into various death battles and kind of screw it up a little bit, and then just go into another one. I think all the Deadpool ones are really good.
I like most of them.
I don't know how I feel about this one in particular, because when you compare their power, Ramona Flowers doesn't have a chance, but it's Amy.
Yeah. I don't remember if they use the Archie comics in this.
Well, it doesn't really matter. She's useless in the Archie comics as she is in the video games. So.
Oh, okay, then why the fuck did she win?
Well, she has more feats than Ramona. Like, Ramona beats up a ninja girl, and Amy can destroy robots, even if they're weak robots. I'm sure the weakest robots is stronger than a random ninja girl from Scott Pilgrim.
I don't know, I skipped this one. I didn't really see much interest in watching it.
I actually remember quite a bit of the death battle just because I thought it looked really nice. Like, it was I like the way the fight choreography went.
I'll give it low C. I'll give it low C. Like, I understand why Amy won, but I don't like it.
I don't particularly care for either characters or franchises, to be honest, but I just remember the fight being so visually interesting and fun that I'm actually going to put it higher up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, it took two characters I don't give a shit about and made such a interesting fight that I still remember it to this day.
So Aquaman versus who?
Namor,
the Submariner.
The first mutant.
All right, this is gonna be a low C because I don't. You guys can have this.
It's in the name that they give him, and also Namor came first.
Well, yeah,
Aquaman.
It was also part of like Captain America's team during World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I just don't care about something, it's gonna be low C. I don't want to put it at D because that shows I hate it. It's just if I don't care for it, it's always gonna be low C. So you guys can have it all.
This one was.
Who won again? Aquaman, right?
Aquaman did.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Again, DC characters can be ridiculous in different ways from what Marvel characters can be.
Not only that, it's also stated multiple times that Aquaman's Trident is one of the most powerful comic book artifacts, not just DC. That's beyond DC, beyond Marvel. Like, it's not the strongest thing, but but it has shown to be one of the strongest tools or artifacts in all of comic books.
Yeah. They do scale similarly, but I feel like Aquaman's like I don't think anymore can talk to fish, can he? Or at least control them.
Well, the thing about that, and that's a really, it annoys me somewhat because the whole talk, it's not really talking to fish. It's a bit like telepathy and like mind control mixed together.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, because Aquaman can like force him to do things.
yeah.
So. Actually, you know what?
I'll put it a high B. It was a cool fight. It was like their season whatever opening. I think it was 5 or 6, and of course it was a Marvel vs. DC one because that's like one they do the most.
Well, the thing about Namor is like he's not even like a particular. From what I remember of him, he's not a particularly like impressive mutant either. Like he's a strong foe, but like he's not particularly like interesting or like incredibly powerful. Whereas
it's
like
also...
Aquaman is like he's normally the butt of a lot of jokes, but like Aquaman has shown to put down a lot of DC characters with or without the Trident.
Yeah. When you're not thinking about whales, he's a pretty formidable hero.
We even talked a little bit about this, Noah and I, in the Injustice playthrough about how Aquaman's kind of shafted on, but he's a really powerful hero.
Yeah.
Because
of whales.
I still remember that point in the Flashpoint movie, which spoilers, but essentially like he manages to start a war with Wonder Woman and the Amazonians.
Themyscira.
And yeah, Themyscira. And it is insane what he does. Like there's this part where there's basically an upgraded version of Cyborg, and he not only beats him without the Trident, but he like tears open his chest.
Oh shit!
And there's this part where like he holds up his Trident, he's about to like stab it through his like beating heart until I'm spoiling the hell out of this movie, but this movie's quite old, but it's amazing.
Oh, it is. It's like a decade old at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's this whole part where like literally just beats him down, like kills a whole bunch of his men by himself, and then is about to just like kill Cyborg by impaling his Trident through his chest.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Namor doesn't really have anything like that. He's not really a Marvel character you scramble towards when you think of like classics, really, even though he technically is an older character. Also, he's just represented badly, like the whole like good guy, bad guy, and it's like, oh, he is like what was the disorder called? I don't know. It's like a horrible representation of like.
You do make him like a wishy-washy as well.
Yeah.
The no pun intended. There was no. I just realized after I said it, I was like, God damn it.
No, that made it better. Yeah, this one has one that like you can I really do agree with. So yeah, I'll put it at high B. Because Aquaman's cool and I feel like he gets his due.
Okay.
Alright, next one.
You know what? I'll put it at below B. Like, I'm hearing you talk about him, like, yeah, Aquaman's kind of underrated. I'm gonna give him the respect he deserves.
You probably don't know who the second character is, so I'll say it. You know Darkstalker?
No.
It is Saberwolf versus John Talbane.
Alright, this one you couldn't get me to care, because I don't really care about Darkstalkers or Killer Instinct.
I've seen this.
I'm gonna put this at S. I actually really like this one. Like, it's a really cool fight, and both these, these are two characters in two series that I like enough that I don't really, like, care for too much, but the way I care about them enough, and it was their Halloween special last year, and they do go all in with that, like, and it's got, like, this cool metal track. The fight was great. There's literally one point where, like, Saberwolf, spoil it, John Talbane wins. Saberwolf kind of like stabs into John Talbane and starts choking with his intestines, and he's just like,
awesome.
And then he like summons the like fire dragon, and they're both like stunned, and he literally starts like slashing Saberwolf to pieces, like not ripping off limbs, and he's trying to crawl away, and he pulls him back, and he just goes like full on tears his head off by biting it and throwing it away, and he just like howls to the moon, and it's super badass. it was pretty gruesome. And the reason for it is like there are two werewolf characters. Saberwolf has not conquered his werewolf, whereas John Talbane has. Like Saberwolf is literally like a ferocious animal, whereas like John is like he knows martial arts. Also, Darkstalkers are ridiculously powerful. Maybe they'll bring Morgan in for one, and if they ever do the remake of Felicia vs. Tawakaka, Felicia wins that. Anyway, this was a cool one. I really like this one. I feel like they went pretty well with the Halloween special.
Yeah, I'll put it in grade.
It's one of those fight animations I go back to because it was just really cool.
Balrog versus TK. I think. I don't know.
I forgot his name.
It was TK something.
Fuck. I just said franchises and TK Combo. TJ Combo.
TK, yeah.
TJ Combo, that was it.
Killer Instinct guy.
Yes. I like this one. I'll put this at A, low A. I thought this one was a cool one because I like the boxing motif, and it also ends with a literal uppercut. It's kind of expected. Balrog gets his head punched off, and it literally flies into like the camera and crashes down. As you hear the answer go, "Oh, sick." It was a cool one.
Yeah, I don't really care for these characters,
I'll
the
put it down here.
series, or like,
Yeah.
okay, cool characters, whatever. But I will admit, just the dedication to the motif. I will put that in really good. I like that attention to detail. I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah.
Alright. Next we got Batgirl versus Spider Gwen.
I really like this one. I'm gonna put this at A, but I'm gonna say this. It's literally a redo of Spider-Man versus Batman. Like, I like both of these characters a lot, and they add a lot to what they can do, but when you put them in a basic fight of skill versus skill, it's basically a redo. And yes, Spider-Gwen does win.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite parts is they actually do recreate the iconic, like, Spider-Man 1, Tobey Maguire dodging the grenades, like doing that kind of weird flip.
Oh yeah.
And they have Gwen do that for the Batarangs. There's some good fan service in this.
That's
also,
awesome.
Gwen's got that ass.
I'm gonna put that high just for that reference alone.
And also, one of the animators for this was Datamadachi.
Oh.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Nice.
Alright.
He also did work on another one, which comes up way later. It's the Dracula one, which is also a good one.
So this is like is this the latest Batman v Spider-Man esque one?
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot that you're saying that I actually quite enjoy, but there's only so many times you can milk an idea,
Yeah.
and I'm just
That's
like,
fair.
I feel like after the fourth one, it should just be like, come on.
Speaking of which, we got Batman Beyond versus Spider-Man 2099.
This is a cool one with two characters that are like, obviously the future motif.
Mm-hmm.
I do really like Batman Beyond as a series.
Yeah.
And I feel like Spider-Man 2099 is one of those ones that's like undersold.
It is definitely undersold.
Batman Beyond won this one. It's one of the few ones that he's won. I will say I did feel bad for Spider-Man. I forgot his name.
I remember.
It was
fuck.
Miguel O'Hara, I think.
Yes, Miguel. Yeah, I don't know about the last name, but his first name was Miguel.
Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I liked him.
A decent enough fight, but
He was definitely popular. He's a popular Spider-Man. Like, he was part of Shattered Dimensions, Edge of Time.
What I like is that they took the aspects that make Batman Beyond unique from regular Batman and Spider-Man 2099 unique from Spider-Man, and incorporated them into how Terry won. Because then it doesn't feel like, Batman v Spider-Man again.
Mm-hmm. They act differently than their counterparts. I mean,
Yeah.
Miguel doesn't even have a lot of the Spider-Man powers. Like, I don't think he doesn't have the spider
Well,
sense, right?
well, okay. So he doesn't have the spider sense, but in replacement of that, he actually has extremely sensitive senses to where it's basically the same thing, except they become a hindrance in his daily life. So when you read the comics, him in his civilian clothes, he's always wearing sunglasses and he's got like ear protection because his sight and hearing are just so sensitive.
Mm.
And again, that's what I like. That's what I liked about this fight is just, you know, Terry managed to find that, turn that into a weakness, and then just exploit it for him being able to win, and it doesn't feel like the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I'll give it that. I like how they did redo the fight, and make it like more interesting.
Yeah.
In a way.
Anyway, up next we got Batman versus Captain America.
This is my least favorite Batman one.
Yeah.
Because
who's the third Batman one?
Black Panther.
That's the one I haven't seen.
That one was pretty good. I don't really care much for this one. I watched it once and I don't really feel the need to go back to it.
Yeah.
I thought I liked it, but I think it might be because I was just into Death Battle at the time that no matter what happened, I was seeing a really cool fight. I'm not going to go against my beliefs, so I'll just put it at low B.
I feel like this is the definition of like a mid Death Battle.
Yeah.
It's just like Batman, you already know. Captain America, there's not really much to him. There's not really much to him beyond what you see, except for maybe like certain feats. You can kind of predict what happens, and you predicted right, and they didn't like. It wasn't some like bullshit way that the other person won. It was just very. I think mid is just a good way. Like it's not bad, but it's not particularly interesting or spectacular in any way.
Yeah.
But do you know what is spectacular? Spider-Man.
God damn it. I saw it as the next one. It's like, please.
Batman versus Spider-Man. I'm just gonna put this at this. This is like one of my favorites.
Yeah. That is
like
a classic.
if we push the trend aside and just focus on it as a whole, like this was like one of my favorites.
It's one of the biggest superhero matchups because these are the two biggest heroes, and it goes well in with the fan service, and you can easily see why one of them wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one just kind of counteracts the other's like greatest feats. That damn spider sense.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite kills.
Maximum Spider.
You having fun yet?
No, I'm dead, Peter.
And all of Commissioner Gordon's and all of his men couldn't put Batman together again. I fucked up the quote, but it's okay.
Yeah.
This is a really good one. It's not really much to say, but it's a classic.
Yeah. Next we have Beast versus Gargoyle. I got that right?
His name. No, he has a real name.
Goliath, but yeah.
Goliath, yeah.
Well, I don't care about either, so I'm just gonna put him in the don't care.
I really like the Gargoyles show. It was a classic, and the X-Men's also a classic, so it's kind of like these two 90s characters going off against each other.
Yeah, but like Beast is like one of my least favorite X-Men, aside from like the movie version. I like the movie version a lot, but like I don't like cartoon beasts, and I don't know anything about gargoyles. So I'm putting in the I don't care.
I didn't know anything about gargoyles before this, and I actually have a personal soft spot for Beast.
Well, yeah, because he looks like you, only blue.
Shut up.
I don't even know the context.
Well, you got a big beard, a feral face, totally Nick.
Wow, that's mean.
You know what? I'm surprised.
He knows I love him. No homo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm surprised no one's compared me to like that one guy in My Hero Season 5. Because if anything, I thought he looked like me. I was like, God damn it. You know that Beast guy from like Class 1B?
Oh fuck. Yeah, kind of.
Oh fuck! You're in an anime?
Right.
Congratulations, Nick. That's amazing.
So basically, we got
The same,
nothing
like,
left to
shaped
talk.
hair color.
Yeah, it's an alright fight.
Alright.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. I personally like it because I just like the whole like feral aspect of it. Just like two beastly creatures just like tearing each other to bits. So, yeah, I put that in, like, it was good.
Alright, now we got Beerus versus who the fuck?
Sailor Galactus.
Oh, I thought that was a Saint Seiya
Galaxia.
character.
Galaxia. Fucking Galaxia.
Who won this fight?
Beerus.
I have a feeling.
Alright.
This is actually probably one of my favorites. I'll put this at S. I really like this one. For the fact of like I'm not really super into Sailor Moon, but like whenever you think of like Sailor Moon, everyone's like, oh, they're not that strong. No, they're ridiculous. Like Sailor Moon is super powerful, and these two characters actually scale really well to each other. But it's also another one of my favorite kills because like it's also like really good animation. Like it's one of my favorite fight animations, and basically like continuously blasting her into an open black hole before she like bursts into bits and gets sucked into it. It was a cool fight. And then he ends it because like she blew up the whole planet as he was eating ice cream. He's like, that was for my ice cream. Because, you know, that's Beerus. Cats, right? It was good. I really liked it.
Alright.
I'll put that okay. I don't remember it, or I haven't watched it, and
Yeah.
I don't particularly care for either character.
Up next we got Obi-Wan versus Kakashi. I'm sorry, I have to do it. Kakashi. I just like it when my guy says his name. I don't know why. It's just funny. Please tell me Obi-Wan won. I don't think Kakashi should stand a chance.
He did. Obi-Wan did win.
Yeah. This is kind of like the overwhelming one. Like I know some.
When you have a sword made of light that can just cut through,
And you have the Force.
And the Force, yeah.
I do really like Kakashi as a copycat ninja, and I was sad when I first saw it because it cuts him in half, not down the middle, but like down the
waist.
Like, like Darth Maul.
Yeah. It is a funny fight animation. I think Datamadachi also worked on this one as well as a few other source filmmaker animators. He literally does the ass poke too, which is funny. But like when you think about it, you're just like, yeah, like some of these Force users, like Obi-Wan's a really powerful Force user. And the way they scale them oftentimes is like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And I do really like Obi-Wan, and I feel like once the show comes out, I'll probably go back to this one because I'll really enjoy seeing Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan again, because he was the best part of the prequels.
Oh,
Easily the best part.
So, up next we got Ben 10 versus Green Lantern. Go ahead, Nick.
Before anyone gives me shit, I fucking love both of these characters.
Boy, I like one way more.
No, I love both these characters. I could probably say I love Green Lantern more, but I grew up with both these characters. Alright?
I grew up with a different version of one of those characters.
Come the fuck on. So many people have pointed out how Green Lantern was a composite version of himself, while you gave probably the weakest version of Ben 10. And then you, not only that, make his strongest alien and power him down just so you can have Green Lantern win.
Oh, cool! It's a different version of Batman versus Goku. I mean, Goku versus Superman.
This fight's notorious.
Also, I think something that kind of bugs me as well. It's bugged a lot of people because I remember seeing a video where someone actually takes a composite version of Ben and just listing off some of the things he gets. It's like, how does this person lose? Because like some of the things is like an ability to fuse two aliens, an ability to like evolve an alien to where essentially it lives through like an apocalyptic war zone for 1,000,000 years, and you get that version of it. And then not only that, some of Ben's aliens being able to like manipulate space and time and just like matter and just this fight's bad. It's just bad.
Yeah.
Also, there's an entire episode dedicated to how Ben actually gets his hand cut off, and instead of it being like Ben's useless, the Omnitrix own AI uses Ben's hand and actually is able to still transform without it being attached. This one's bad. This one's just bad.
When I first saw this, I'll admit I was happy that Ben lost, but it came from a different point of like, oh, Green Lantern won. It's more of like, as a versus guy, I'm always kind of irritated when people say Ben can beat anyone because they're like, oh, he can turn into any alien. It's like, no, there's characters that are stupid powerful.
That's always annoying when somebody says this character can beat everyone. My version of that is Superman.
I don't agree.
There's a lot of people like that. But yeah, no, it's bad. You were saying?
All right. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily agree that one particular character can beat anyone. I think there are people that can beat Ben, but I mean, like, it's so clearly you've made Green Lantern the strongest version from all his strongest feats, and have just taken like the worst version.
They do that with their DC characters. I notice, like, they don't focus on one version of the character. They just like mix together a bunch of them, which makes everything unfair for whoever they're fighting.
It'd be like I'm just gonna look through some. I'm actually just gonna look through. It'd be like, you know, like Miss Marvel versus Shazam, but it's like, or like it'd be like Captain Marvel at like her ultimate like strongest power, and she's fighting Billy, just as Billy. Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah. This one's not good. It's notorious. I think even they've talked about how notorious it is, but it's
after a guy like came on trying to defend it. Anyway.
It's
Anyway.
Let's put that away.
Okay, we have Blake versus who the fuck?
Mikasa Ackerman.
Now, explain to me why I shouldn't put this at D, Sean.
You can put it at D.
Like,
oh, please don't tell me.
I know Blake won.
No, don't. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I don't know who this chick is, so was it at least fair? Like, I don't want my blind Ruby hatred to affect my opinion.
Oh, Jesus.
In reality, if I'm talking about their actual skill sets, I mean, Blake has, like, stupid powers, but she's also stupid. And Mikasa's one of the... Like, I'm not super into Attack on Titan, but Mikasa's a prodigy. Like, she's one of the greatest in that anime. Like, she can take on Titans like nothing, and she's got, like, superhuman speed and agility, and she's, like, this ultimate defender, and she's a badass, and she's one of the most... Everyone keeps saying she's one of the most badass.
Alright, you convinced me.
Even as someone who doesn't care too much for, like, it's a decent anime. Yeah, this irritated me. Like, I'm having a movie. Jesus Christ, no! I wish I had a movie. No, but I have a video coming out about how much I don't like the main four of Ruby, and Blake is such a nothing fucking character. There's no joy in her winning. There's nothing. I mean, she loses like her arm, so.
No, that's Yang.
No. Here's the thing. Blake definitely dies after the fight because she's in the Attack on Titan universe, and she loses her arm. She basically like gets her ass kicked, and then more Titan shows up, and she grabs the sword ready to go fight. And I'm like, oh no, bitch, you dead.
Yeah, no.
You're fucking dead. So at least we have that to enjoy.
So here's
another Ruby one that pisses me off.
This the thing about Ruby. We've had a whole like 4-hour discussion on Ruby, so I won't waste my breath here. But I just want to say, like, one point that Sean brought up in the discussion is that the Ruby characters never get stronger. They just have the plot help them win. And for everything you're describing of the other chick, Blake has no chance against her. It's just Rooster Teeth.
It goes back again to scaling a character compositely and only looking at feats instead of character personality. Because as a fighter, Blake is inexperienced as fuck. And if it was strictly on like that, including like that as a big factor, she would trip up a lot, and Mikasa would get a spot where she could, like, I don't know, chop her fucking head off, moving at like Mach speed, because that's what those things can do.
Not to mention,
So.
Blake hasn't won any really big fights in the series.
No.
Like, she beats Roman, okay.
Good for
She
you.
helps
Weakest
kills.
villain.
She helps kills Adam. But if I remember correctly, Yang did all the heavy lifting in that fight.
Yeah, like, I feel like this is one that has Rooster Teeth paw prints all over it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, this popular anime, and then our show. Let's make our show look better.
You know
The
what?
more I think about it, like the worse it actually is, because it really is a case of like someone with skills and like abilities to like. If you're looking at it just from like feats, one has powers and like abilities to like possibly win over the other, but the character itself is so, I'm gonna be fucking real, fucking incompetent. That, like, if you looked at them just based on characters, clearly one has not just more experience, but is just more sound in a battlefield, like more aware of their surroundings, has more time and experience and just better knowledge of the tools they have equipped. So it's just like that's what you were saying earlier. Like, character also plays a role into how they would go into a fight.
Yeah.
You know, we're not gonna get to this certain death battle yet, but I want to imagine the reason is the Weiss versus Mitsuru fight. Mitsuru wins that fight, and I bet Rooster Teeth was like, "What the fuck? We need our characters to always win." And like, okay, I'll make the next one win.
I don't know. The next thing is, like, they have the basic enemy in Ruby is Grim. In
Yeah.
Attack on Titan, it's Titans. There's a clear difference in scale.
Like Grim are Goombas, and
Yes.
Titans are Bowsers.
Yes.
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
the show literally starts with one breaking down their barrier and eating Aaron's mom.
All right. Let's just move on, because we got 2 more Ruby discussions later, or death battles rather. All right, let's pair these two together. Boba Fett versus Samus, both the original and remake. Okay then. Yeah, yeah.
It's the same outcome both times. I feel like they did the remake because they wanted to show, like, how better their animation has gotten. Also, it's the anniversary of the fight or death battle, one of them.
Yeah.
But this is a really good matchup. Like, both these characters make sense fighting each other. They're 2 of the greatest bounty hunters, and it makes sense why Samus wins.
And I can appreciate both of them because I actually watch Star Wars and play Metroid.
I really like both of these characters. Like, I love Boba Fett. I'm happy he's getting his own show, and I love Samus because I really like the Metroid series. But these are just 2 really good fights. The first one's a classic. It's the first fucking one, and I feel like it's a good starter. And then the second one, remake, is a good showing of how far they've come, while still showing, it's still the same outcome. And I don't think that'll change with the Boba Fett show, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I agree with that. I think these are both great fights.
Anyway, let's move on to Bomberman versus Dig Dug. This one pissed me off. Because
this is dumb.
Bomberman has like multiple games to back up, and he's accomplished so much. Like, he fights galactic level scaled villains in some games. Dig Dug just is in the ground, just digging.
Keep in mind, this is also before they had actual research. They had 2 weeks, so it's bad though. It's not good.
Yeah, this is really bad. This is like one of the ones that pissed me off a lot. From the older death battles, it's just that Bomberman has so many feats, and Dig Dug is just a guy in the dirt. That's just what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just move on to the next one.
But not in a good way.
It's like a variety of it's a variety of like bombs and explosives versus a bike pump.
Exactly.
That's a funny way of putting it. I like.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. It's a whatever one. Up next, we got Bowser versus Ganondorf.
Oh, a classic matchup.
Yeah.
I really like this one.
I forgot who won this one.
Ganondorf.
I had a feeling.
That makes sense.
because Bowser is like this indomitable figure who's super powerful, but Ganondorf has like a lot of magic and shit, and just the way to counteract Bowser.
Yeah, if Bowser brought his tennis racket, he might have a chance.
Actually, they did play tennis. They did have a tennis matchup. It was basically the Ocarina of Time fight versus Bowser doing a.
Yeah.
I forgot what they did it with, but it was the fight animation was good. It was a good matchup. It's a classic. Nintendo versus Nintendo villain of their two biggest franchises.
It makes sense.
Yeah. They're the two big bads.
All right. Up next we have Who the Fuck versus Red Hood.
Winter Soldier.
Oh, that's Winter Soldier?
Yep.
Okay, that did not. That is not an incarnation look that I have ever seen before.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll put it.
Winter Soldier versus. Who won this one?
Live action one, right?
Hmm.
This was a live action one, right? Like
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Who won this one?
Winter Soldier did.
I had a feeling, yeah.
First of all, like, I feel like both. Actually, I'll put it a little. I feel like both live action fights are really good because there's a lot of work that went into them, and I forgot the name of that crew, but I've seen their stuff before they were associated with Death Battle, and they do a lot of really great stuff. And there's a lot of passion behind the projects, and you get like this really great high production fight that is easily one of the best. Fuck, I'm thinking more. I'll put it probably around here.
Not only that, like there's also a difference between like drawing a character and then like actually making the materials to make the costume.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's also got to be props. There's a lot of, you can really tell there's a lot of effort that went into just making it work, and then not only making it work, but just making it look right, just making it feel right, and just the. Cause you gotta imagine like putting that in like a real world setting is just there's a lot more hurdles you have to jump through, and just putting that effort in, I really appreciate.
There's also the fight stuff was also really good. There's a lot of really cool edits. There's one point where it shows like Red Hood gets like knocked behind like a revolving door, and he's like, oh, that one hurt, and as revolving after one take, he's just gone. Like he just disappears, and I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. And there's a lot of good characterization between both of them, and they're both also like the matchup makes sense. Like it very much makes sense. And they're also pretty close. So you could see this going either way, but they did have it go to Winter Soldier. So I thought it was easily one of their best, especially in later times. It was if like we're comparing like most recent seasons, we were just doing that, I would put it at S because it's one of the ones that I enjoyed the most.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna shift that up.
Next we have Cami versus Sonya Blade.
This one was good. I think that's the best way to put it. Good.
Sonya won, right?
She did.
Yeah.
It was the fatality in 9 where she lifts him up with her legs and splits him in half.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because people kind of like put Sonya down, but you got to remember she's like a
Mortal Kombat character.
And they can punch limbs off and shit. Cammy's really, really strong as a super soldier, but like...
And not only that, I feel like I think the best way to describe it is probably like Hercule syndrome, where it's like you're being compared to like gods and people who can like turn into dragons and like warlords from other dimensions. Being like a super soldier in like another version in like another universe, you'd be like really strong and powerful and cool, but like compared to all these feats, then you look weak by comparison.
Yeah.
But she still manages to go toe to toe with them.
Yeah. They're close enough, but like Sonya's, when you look at like her feats in Mortal Kombat, she's really strong, especially the character she fights. And I like both these characters. And again, MU makes sense, but I did think the outcome was correct.
Yeah, I have no problems with this one. Next we have Captain Marvel versus Shazam.
They don't like Captain Marvel, do they? They really don't like her, apparently.
Well, nobody I know anyway likes her.
I like her. She's good in the comics.
I'm whenever in the comics. I just don't like the actor.
I was talking about the
I like
MCU one.
Actually.
But again, I'm just separating the two.
Yeah, definitely separate the two. Like, I liked Miss Marvel when she was Miss Marvel back in the day, but like this new Captain Marvel, not so much. I also don't like Shazam either, so I'm just putting this in the
That's
don't care category.
I especially felt like the tone of like for the DC EU or whatever it is, it makes sense and like it's good in comparison, but like I I just wasn't I'm just not a I just find him obnoxious in that movie.
It was a good movie, but I like
No,
Shazam more.
it was a good movie. I'm not, don't get me wrong, it was a good movie, but it just at parts like I get it. It's one of those things where it's like I get it. Doesn't
Yeah,
mean I'm still supposed to like it. I do
Yeah.
get it.
yeah. This one's alright. It's fine enough. It does the job, I guess. I do think like the beginning of the fight is my favorite part, where he's like accidentally like busting things, and Captain Marvel is like, "Oh, you're a villain." He's like, "Wait, no, hold on."
Yeah, that's
Mm.
Uh,
good.
This one has me interested to watch, but I never did. Carnage versus who the fuck?
Lucy.
Lucy. Oh, you like
So
it a lot, apparently.
specifically, it goes for the fact that we've talked about how the fights work. This is easily, in my opinion, one of their best. Like how the fights turn out. It's a mixture of sprite animation and hand drawn animation, and there's literally so many points where I'm just like, this is so good, and both these characters are broken in their own right, but like in the manga, Lucy is just stupid powerful. And she has literally the counters for Carnage, but my favorite part is like, because she's this dual personality character. I'm saying this as someone who didn't really like Elfen Lied that much. You can hate me in the comments, but I'm sorry, I don't like gory anime that much. Um,
Oh, now I understand. Like,
it's brutal as fuck, and I don't like it. I'm not like a fucking gore fetishist. But there's one part because she has this dual personality because she kind of goes into shock and gets this like cutesy persona, and she starts off like cutesy, like when he's like murdering people in this train, and then shows up, and then she just kind of like, has her true colors come out. And there's one point where she has him like pinned down with the invisible arms, and she's like, "You disgust me," and just looks at him with like contempt. And he's like, "I hate you," and then just because it's been described that she can basically make like nuclear explosions. So it was a really good matchup.
Yeah, honestly, the more you talk, the more I realize just why set these two up then?
Because they're
It
both
feels
very
like
hard to kill.
because they're psychotic, from what I'm
They're
hearing.
both psychotic, very difficult to kill, brutal monsters with a high body count.
but then again, then it just comes more to like a power scale. Because if this is like base Carnage, then
Oh no,
it's
it
like
was.
regular symbiote versus like someone who, as you said, has nuclear explosions.
Or no, I forgot what exactly they described it. I know her invisible arms can like reach around the world, and they can vibrate to the point where they can create like nuclear fusion, and uh, she can also. I don't think it was
Okay,
sound
but like,
based, but she can like vibrate them enough to where
okay, again, but that's
Yeah, no, it's
it's just
definitely
more the point. It's like,
overpowered.
yeah.
But I really like the execution of it. Like
Oh no, I like the execution as well.
yeah.
That's why I'm still keeping it like really good. It was still really good, but it does seem like a one-sided fight.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Mm, this
Alright.
next one is interesting.
Next we got Chuck Norris versus.
Zagatos Sanchiro.
I'm putting this in amazing, just off the bat.
I really like this one, and I'm saying this as someone who
Yeah.
fucking hates Chuck Norris. I hate the jokes. I hate the man. I think he's awful. He's a bad person. He's just he irritates me in so many ways, but this fight execution is great, and they're both basically going their meme routes of like, there's so many references they have where like I forgot what fight it was, but there was like this huge explosion. And the end of this fight, they're still going on. They just like our equipment can't absorb their powers anymore because they're stupid powerful or whatever. And there's
Yeah.
literally parts where like another fight ends and the two characters are, like looking, and then they keep fighting. They're like, what was that? Who? And it's a classic one. It's really good animation. I kind of get over the fact that I don't like Chuck Norris because it's literally a point where he punches him with a beard with a fist from his beard. It's such a good meme fight.
Yeah, it is. It's a meme fight, and it's played to like such a level of seriousness that it's just completely hilarious.
Yes. It exceeds in like pretty much every way it needs to, and it also kind of like shows light to like a mascot character of Zagatos that people don't really know about, but he's such a weird character. But it's still a really good fight. Really good.
I sometimes look back on those adverts; they're so great.
Oh yeah. Back when
Alrighty.
Japan ruled the advertising world.
Next we have
The fucking Sakura Gummy series. Sorry, I won't get. I won't like. That's my favorite. Those are my favorite Japanese adverts, but I won't go on a tangent here. Next fight.
next we have Chun Li versus Mai. Is it Mai or Mia?
Mai Shiranui.
Mai Shiranui. 3. Wait, I don't do that in this one.
So, my thing is, a lot of people say that Chun Li should win, and there's a lot of people who believe that Chun Li wins a lot of MUs against female characters. Like, oh, she's the strongest woman in the world. I like Chun Li. No, she's not. She's not even the strongest person.
No.
Strongest woman in her own franchise.
No, yeah, I was about to say.
She loses to Rose. She loses to Jury. She even loses to Cami.
She's got the Weiss effect of having a pretty big loss record to be called that.
The difference is that Chun Li is actually a likable character.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, Chun Li has a huge loss record to have that title.
I don't think she's also ever won a Street Fighter tournament.
No. Canonically, no, she's never done.
And I'm also biased because I like ninjas and also titties.
Yeah.
But I do like Mai as a character.
I remember
and
liking
I was
this
genuinely
fight.
upset that like she was when Sakura was like, no, she can't be in Smash. And I was like, oh dang it, that'd been cool.
I personally would have preferred Terry.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, I like Terry a lot, so that's my bias.
I also don't think this matchup changes if they redo it. If I'm being honest, I do still think that Mai wins because.
Oh yeah, it's not like
just
either of them
think
got
she's
stronger.
No. And
I have no strong opinions about this, and I completely forgot about it, so I'm putting it in okay.
it's a classic matchup that people go back to and say it's wrong, but I'm like, it's because people are biased to Chun Li. If I'm being wholly honest, she's a good character. I like her, but she loses a lot of fan matchups that are for her, like a lot.
Yeah. Next we have Crash versus Spyro.
Oh, my baby boy.
So I'll let you two go.
I never watched this one.
Oh, okay.
I knew Spyro was gonna win.
He won. Spyro won. But they also went with the Legend of Spyro.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm putting it high C, because I don't think you should be comparing the Legend of Spyro with just basic Crash.
If it was their classic trilogy versus classic trilogy, I do think Crash wins.
I still think Spyro wins, but I would have ranked it much higher if they just stuck with the classics.
Yeah, but they didn't. They went with more like they didn't go composite. Thank God.
They did the thing where they went for this guy clearly wins because we're gonna mix a bunch of continuity into one entity.
They only went with I think they only went with the Legend of Spyro.
But why though?
Why? I don't know, because it's their strongest version, and Crash has no other continuity. But yeah, you're right. Why though? They should have chosen another version to make it more of a fair fight.
It should have been the classic version.
Yeah. Either way, it's a fight that I watched. I was sad, and then I got over it, and then I just haven't gone back to it because it's like these are two franchises I love, and yet I feel almost nothing when they fight.
Yeah, basically. Alrighty. Up next we have Black Widow versus some chick from Overwatch, I think.
Widowmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put it.
I don't care.
This one actually makes a lot of sense. Think about it.
And that's why I don't care.
these two definitely match each other. I mean, in terms of like why they would like be put in a death battle, but like it's a Marvel character. And Black Widow at that, like people low scale Black Widow was like, oh, she's a normal person, like in the MCU. I'm like, no.
No, like I've read some of her comics. No, the reason why I say this makes sense is because both of these characters have had their body altered by a nefarious organization to become an ultimate assassin. I mean, the whole reason Widowmaker has blue skin just because they lowered her heart rate. Still made her alive.
Also,
Still keeping her alive.
Also, fact, women actually do make better assassins than men. That's why more assassins are women.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
yeah,
that's why Sean is biased.
Well, there's also like the femme fatale archetype.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's an archetype in the first place.
Yes. But I think this fight is pretty good. It makes sense why Black Widow wins, and the animation's really interesting and fun, and it's overall a pretty good matchup.
Next we have Dante versus Bayonetta.
I don't remember this one, but I remember watching it.
I put it on S.
I really like this one.
This fight was fucking awesome, and it was the reason why I wanted Dante in Smash. And I sort of got him. Good. I love this fight so much.
Who won again?
Dante.
Oh, okay.
No, that's because Dante's also a pretty broken character. I mean, Bayonetta is too, but both of them are broken.
It was a clean fight.
Oh yeah, the finishing makes sense. I know Bayonetta is the spawn of many boners, but Jesus Christ, she's now in many pieces.
well, so is Dante for the opposite sex or the same sex. We don't judge.
You know, that's fair. That's fair. But this is a really good matchup. The animation, especially for the time, looks really good. And it's a matchup that makes a lot of sense. They're two like over the top, ridiculous slashing.
Supernatural, like
hack and slash
hunter-esque type of characters. Yeah, hack and slash.
Yeah.
That mainly use guns as weapons.
Yeah. And they're also two cool characters.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wish that Dante got in Smash because we could react to Death Battle.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? This is coming back to me. Yeah, I'm putting it in great.
Yeah, no, it was overall a really good matchup.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Anyway, up next we have Darth Vader versus Doctor Doom. Oof.
Here's my thing. I love both of these characters. Why the fuck is Darth Vader fighting Doctor Doom?
Yeah, like I get it. Like I vaguely
look at him.
Still, why?
Yeah, they make sense. And the thing is, Darth Vader is really powerful in the Star Wars universe, but Doctor Doom.
He took over the world twice and gave it up because he got bored.
Like, I wish Darth Vader got another matchup, because Darth Vader is a genuinely very powerful character, and he's one of my favorite villains of all time. Doctor Doom is also one of my favorite villains, but I put this at D because it's a matchup that makes no fucking sense to me. One of the characters is astoundingly more powerful than the other.
I remember liking this fight, so I'm gonna put it at B.
You know what? I think to like
no,
the feats that Doctor Doom has committed, and it's like taking over the world twice. There's the whole thing with Battle World, if anyone knows about that. There's like the Ultimate Alliance game where he essentially becomes a god. I think he actually becomes Odin at one point in that game, or gets his powers. So it's like, again, this is like one of the smartest people in the entire Marvel universe. And when that's someone who's created their own, and when that's on par with someone who's created their own particles, or at least discovered it, then like that's insanely smart.
Counter argument: Doctor Doom's not in the MCU, so he's obviously garbage.
Yet. He's gonna be there.
MCU's overrated. Fucking fight me.
I won't, because I agree with you.
I love the MCU to pieces, and I do kind of agree with you. I've seen every movie.
He said that because he knew I was gonna say, "All right, Nick, we gotta beat up Sean."
No, I love the MCU. They're some of my favorite comic book movies, and I think it's done a lot of great stuff. But yeah, it is a little overrated.
Anyway, let's move on to Metal Sonic versus Zero.
These are two characters I don't have too much fond interest in, and yet somehow they made a fight that I actually pretty enjoyed.
Yeah. I like this fight.
I think I watched this one.
It was crazy.
0-1, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
because Metal Sonic went like that full, like, huge transformation.
Oh, yeah. You know what they say, when you transform into a big monster, you automatically lose.
I don't think of any other characters that have transformed into big monster.
Nemesis. Maybe not in Death Battle, but I'm just like... Oh, wait, in 1. Okay, never mind. I thought you meant the opposite. But yeah.
Nope, there is one. There is one. Oh wait, nope, he didn't transform into a giant monster. Never mind, I was wrong.
I love both of these characters, and I got a really wicked cool fight out of it, so I put it at A.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a single character that transforms into a large monster and wins.
I don't think I watched this one. Sorry,
I'll be right back. I'm gonna
just have to put it in. Okay, I don't think I watched this one. But I'll put it in like high. Okay. That's fine. There.
Yeah. I don't really get why these two are matched up to begin with, but like, I liked it enough. It was fun.
Oh, that's 18 versus
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I remember. I think 18 won this fight.
Yeah.
And I remember like a lot of people had a bitch fit over this one. But you see, I'm gonna do what I did at the very beginning with the Sasuke versus Hiei fight, and be like, I really don't like one character and I really like the other, so that's an S.
I want to hear Sean's perspective on it.
Yeah, that's fair, but like, I'm not changing my mind. I love Android 18 so much so that people shipped me with her back in the day. That was an interesting phase of my life.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember that. That was weird.
That was really weird. I'm sorry, 18. I have a Neo. But if I ever feel like I'm being a jackass and starting a harem, I might send you an invite. Probably not, but maybe. If I think about Dragon Ball characters, then yes. But if not, bye.
I'm sorry, but like I could never think about like Dragon Ball characters like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why? It's like, ew, really?
So, did we have a conversation on this one yet, or no?
No, we did. I'm waiting on your opinion.
Oh, what would Noah say?
It's just like Hiei versus Sasuke. There's a character that I very much don't like, and a character I very much do like, so it's S.
I do like this one. I think this one is a lot better than the other Captain Marvel one. I really enjoy this one, even though. Never mind. Actually, I enjoy this one. I feel like overall it's pretty good.
That was good.
Up next,
I like Captain Marvel enough. Oh, sorry. Actually, never mind. Let's go.
Up next we have Deadpool versus Deathstroke, and
the one that started it all.
This one, I have some history with this one because back in the day with my best friend John, we would always be like Deadpool versus Deathstroke. Even though Deadpool obviously was gonna win, I'm just gonna get this over with. It's gonna be A somewhere.
Yeah.
But like, I remember like we used to have this channel. Origin story. I used to have another duo channel. Way back in the day, it was called Shadow Legacy Gaming, and my avatar was Deathstroke, and his was Deadpool.
Oh boy.
But then he moved away, so the channel kind of died. But anyway.
Well, it was a good matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It was fun.
Yeah, no, it's because I feel like a lot of these aren't fun, but the Deadpool ones are always fun. Because, I mean, it's Deadpool, but...
But let's keep the Deadpool train going with Deadpool versus Pinkie Pie. Never saw this one. But I'm sure you're going to... tell me why it should be S.
Actually, I'm gonna readjust things a little bit. All right. So let me readjust things more. This fight is one of the most fun. It's a matchup that you're like, I'm sorry, what? The fuck?
Mm-hmm.
But let me just say, this is another fight that has no winner. Neither of them kill each other. They do not do the actual death battle part. And you're like, wait, hold on. What the fuck? This is someone who does not like My Little Pony because I'm not a brony, I'm not 5 years old, and I'm not a girl.
That is very fair.
but The way they talked about Pinkie Pie, like she's literally a character with like literal cartoon physics, and she breaks the fourth wall a lot. And the fight animation is hilarious. I love how they invade other fights and they literally become friends. They're like, wait, why are we fighting? And then Deadpool's like, because these two assholes are making us fight. We don't have to do that. We could be friends. Come on, let's go. And they just friends for different death battles and they end with them being friends. And then Wizard moves and Boo's like, what the hell? They're supposed to fight to death. What is this?
Not only that, it really does feel like something that you would read in a Deadpool comic. Like,
and they also can't kill each other.
Yeah,
it's still my favorite, at least one of my favorite joke battles, because it's one of those ones where you're like, I went in like, all right, let's see how this one works, and then I left it just genuinely feeling happier. Like it's a very fun episode. Even the breakdowns are great, because you know how like Deadpool interrupts, and because he's breaking the fourth wall, Pinkie Pie does the same thing, but she does it in a different way, and it's just genuinely funny. Oh, that's up.
So up next we have what?
I said I like it a lot. So anyway.
All right. Up next we have Ryu versus Jin. I remember this fight being cool.
I don't remember it.
I'll put it at B.
I put it at A. Because one thing is, they reuse the asset for the Vault and Ruby, the one below in the volume 5, the one where
Having fun there, Nick?
fuck.
Not really, but keep going.
You know what I'm talking about, the one like where the lamp is located or whatever.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, and it's just overall better than any fight Ruby. The fight animation is great. I think both characters are pretty cool. And even though I feel like this would end in a knockout, I like the outcome of it. Because as much as I do like the Ryu versus Scorpion one, I did feel bad for Ryu because he's just a character he's a basic character, but I still like him. But overall, this is a really good fight in my opinion.
You know, I think him having the Naruto type of story where this like thing inside of you is like trying to possess you and trying to make you a fucking murderer, essentially.
Yeah.
That does a lot for him to make it. Like, if he was just as he was in, like, Street Fighter 2 and beyond, where he was like, I just like fighting people, then I would agree he's, like, one of the most boring protagonists ever. But the fact that they gave him that Naruto type of story makes me like him a hell of a lot more.
Yeah. I think he's a good character, and it's a good fight.
Anyway, we got the Shredder versus Silver Samurai. Never seen this one.
It was a good one. The Shredder won this one. I want to say also one of my favorite kills. Because I know he cuts off Silver Samurai's arms, and then he stabs the sword into his neck, and then kicks another sword and decapitates his head, and then catches it as Super Shredder. And then I forgot what he says, but he says something badass. And they have like custom sprites for his face, all mangled up, and they animate him crushing it and exploding it.
Oh, I remember that. Oh,
it's stupid brutal and stupid cool. I like it. It's a really good fight animation. And these are two characters that I feel like get undersold. Although Silver Samurai, I don't think is like a character that's especially popular.
Not really.
But I feel like it was a really cool fight overall.
Next we have Donkey Kong versus Knuckles. I remember the memes.
This is another one of my favorite outcomes.
Uh,
I'm just remembering. One of my favorite parts of this fight is how often they use the "oh no." Because he used the coconut gun and he fires it rapidly and he hits him and he's like, "oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no." And they're fighting in the mine carts and they're trying to climb up as his leg's collapsing and he Donkey Kong does the essentially the forward smash of slapping his hands. And there's like a blood splatter, and it shows like the top back on the surface, and it shows like Knuckles' arms breaking through, and then Donkey Kong pops out with just the arms and throws them away. It's a really funny fight.
And this is like one of the Mario vs. Sonic fights that I actually believe in the outcome, because the reason why I don't think I'll save that when we get to Mario and Sonic, but the fact Knuckles is canonically pretty slow. Like, he's fast, but he's not super fast. And Donkey Kong, just look, if you look at him funny, he looks like the type of guy who will just fucking smash your face in and just utterly destroy you, like that one Koopa in Subspace.
Not to mention, it makes sense that a gorilla would kill an echidna.
Yeah. Unless he was sexually confused by his 8 penises.
9.
9. Holy fuck.
Is it 8? I don't remember.
No,
if it's 8.
it's one penis with 4 heads.
Still too many.
Oh god.
It's still too much. I know they even showed it, but they censored it. They're like, what? No, this is one of my favorite fights. This is hilarious. I like how Donkey Kong even falls down at one point through a hole, and Knuckles looks over, and one of the coconuts hits him. He's like, "Oh no!" when he just falls in.
I don't know who the fuck either of these two are.
It's the Dragon Megazord versus Mechagodzilla.
I had a feeling one of them was Mechagodzilla.
And they went with the Kiryu version.
I don't care, so go ahead.
Put it here. I really like this one, and I don't really care for either franchise either.
Who won?
It was Mechagodzilla.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Alright. Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah, it was good. I really have much to say about it. I thought the fight animation was good, so.
Oh, this one was pretty rad. Dr. Eggman versus Dr. Wily. The winner was Metal Sonic.
This was one of my personal favorites.
Yeah.
This is definitely one of those great, like, what the fuck? I love it, though. It's a good classic one.
It really is a classic. That's what I consider a good classic.
I love how it wasn't just the two fighting each other, it was their entire armies fighting each other.
Oh yeah, such a good concept.
Yeah.
And then Metal Sonic wins.
Because he's the most broken.
Yeah.
So broken, he got his own matchup.
Yeah.
It's just funny how, like, when Metal Sonic wins, they're like, so who technically won? Because it's like, it's Eggman's robot, but it was Dr. Wily's disease. So it's like,
Metal Sonic? Metal Sonic.
Metal Sonic.
Yeah.
It was that scene in El Dorado when they're like, both was good.
So, who are these guys?
It's everyone from the boys.
Everyone from the boys?
Well, it was the main heroes and then the forgot his name of the villain. What's his name?
I'm trying to remember the name of that. Is it like the superhero group?
Yes.
Is it just them, or are the boys in
Essentially,
there
yes.
Okay.
Well, he's there, but he's like, you know.
Because I know Homelander and's there, but I forgot the name.
Oh
of
no,
that
Homelander
superhero
doesn't
group.
join the fight.
Oh, he doesn't.
No. Well, he does at the end, but because I forgot the name of the guy with the baby laser baby. He wins, and then Homelander kills him immediately. He's like, "I win, huh?" I don't really care much for the boys because I haven't seen it, but I imagine if I saw it, I would like it more. But as it was like so big for me.
I read the comics, and the comics are fucking amazing. And you think the TV show's brutal? Ooh.
Now the real fight is all the evil Supermen fighting each other, and people have to explain how much Omni-Man destroys Homelander.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, okay, I can tell you why Homelander would win that fight. I know why Omni-Man
he does?
would win that fight. No, Omni-Man would win that fight.
Okay, I was about to say, like, wait, what?
No, Omni-Man would win that fight, hands down. It's completely obvious, but sorry, I was busy thinking. I was thinking about this death battle. I'm just thinking, why? Because it's clearly that Homelander would win this fight.
They did it because they were
Black Noir.
They got a partner. I think it was a partnership with Amazon, or it was partnership. It was an episode that was played more for like a what if, not like a serious battle, because it was literally in between two fights. So it was not like a mainstay death battle. It was more like a kind of fun, weird in the middle one. So, like a bonus episode, essentially. So it wasn't really played to be super serious, because they were even talking about, I forgot what the corporation in the boys is, but there was like, we have a partnership with them, and they were like, you have to make it so our characters win.
So, anyway, up next we have Genos versus War Machine.
I really like One Punch Man, but War Machine's War Machine. Probably put it here.
You
I
know,
felt bad for Genos.
you know Genos lost because that's his gimmick.
Yeah, he's a great character who continuously loses because he's
He's the butt monkey.
yeah. And Saitama doesn't get the glory. I really hope they never put Saitama in a fucking death battle, because he's a character not meant to be taken seriously. Genos and other ones make sense because they're like actual heroes with feats, but like Saitama's literal thing is,
oh yeah, you know they're gonna do fucking Saitama versus Omni-Man or something.
That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
Well, what matchup would make sense for Saitama? That's the point.
None.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody makes sense for Saitama. He's a character who's literally not meant to be scaled.
Yeah.
Which is why I hope they don't do it, and I'm happy they haven't done it yet. But I know they fucking will at some point, because
When they run out of ideas. But anyway, we got Cable versus Booster Gold. Please tell me Cable won.
Nope.
Okay.
I like this fight. I was sad that Cable lost, because I do really like Cable, but when they talk more about how Booster Gold won, it did make sense. To me, at least.
Nah, fuck you. This Joe character shouldn't win any fight.
I mean, he is a joke character.
Yeah. He is a joke character. But I like Booster Gold.
I do too.
I hate you both.
Where did Nick put
I'm
it?
not saying the fight's good, because I haven't seen it. I'm just like, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, I hate you because you said you like Booster Gold.
Wow.
I like him as a gag character.
This 5-year relationship with each other is a lie.
Let's just get this one over with.
Alright, Shadow versus Ryuko. This is the most recent one I've seen.
I hate this one. So, I've likened up to Shadow over time.
And Death Battle's like, well, we can't have that. Let's piss all over him.
But I find it interesting that as I liked the character and felt bad for him, they brought in one of my personal favorite characters. And then decided, according to Noah, interpret her terribly.
Yes.
And then kill her. And I'm just like, okay. I literally almost quit the show at that point. Because that felt like, hey, here's this character you really like, and this show you really like. Go fuck yourself.
Basically.
Because Ryuko is a character who gets misinterpreted so fucking much, because she's always put in the edgy category. And she is, but like, not in the normal way. There's a lot of great character moments for her that make her more than just an edgy stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
And she's proven that she's a character that like genuinely cares for other people. She enjoys the relationships that she, gets involved with. And one of my favorite episodes is when all the Matoyas get Makanchokes, get like rich, and then they're kind of growing further apart, and Ryuko feels alienated. She wants everyone to be together, and that's not something an edgy character typically does. Like,
oh my
she's
god,
a loner, but not in the way a regular loner is.
This death battle was so horrible for her character. Like,
I
so awful.
I skipped it, and just hearing that makes me despise it.
It was so bad. Like, I know, like, these aren't supposed to be the characters. They're kind of, like, abridged versions of them, and I had my quote-unquotes you can't see. But, like, wow. She was not only such a naggy bitch, and whenever she's losing, she blames Setsu for all, like, it feels like on a constant basis. Like, she feels like an abridged version. Like, that is the personification of, like, what people that don't watch Kill la Kill think of her. Like, it was so fucking terrible. I put it as C because I really like Shadow, and this is his only win.
Yeah, but like,
I know it's not fair, but I don't care.
it's sad that as I like the character more, I look back. Obviously, he loses to Vegeta, but I feel like he should have won against Mewtwo.
Absolutely.
And then I'm like, because when this episode was coming out, I'm like, I really hope Ryuko wins, but I do hope they treat Shadow's character better than they did before. And apparently, they learned fucking nothing, and it's currently probably my least favorite episode. I will never watch it. Even if someone forces me at gunpoint, I'll be like, no, go fuck yourself. Pull the trigger.
If I buy Metro Dread, would you watch it?
No. No. So I'll buy the fucking game myself.
Okay. Yeah, this one was really bad. I'm putting in SC because I really wanted Shadow to win. Like, Vegeta, I get it. We'll get to it. But Mewtwo, that's kind of a fuck no, that shouldn't have happened thing.
Also, the writing for him in that episode was terrible.
Yeah.
So apparently they transmitted it to the character he fights now.
Wait.
I need to watch.
No, we'll get there.
I need to watch Kill la Kill again. God damn it.
Alright, so up next we got Felicia versus Kawataka, yeah. This is a classic one for me. Like, I think I remember this one. I remember watching this one a lot for obvious reasons, probably. I'll put it at C.
I put it at high C because I feel like they interpreted both characters well, but I felt so bad for Felicia. Also, with current scaling, I'm pretty sure Felicia wins.
Yeah.
She ranges to John Talbane, and they basically put them at close to like light speed, so or at least like speed of sound and shit like that. Because.
But at the same time, the fucking Blaze Blue cast are all pretty much demigod levels, all of them.
Yeah, but is Tawakaka really demigod levels?
The fact that she can like go to toe with some of these guys, yeah. Like, she's a joke. It's a joke character using cartoon logic in a fighting game. It is what it is.
But I don't know.
I like her a lot. I like how she gives like everybody a nickname.
Yeah, it's the booby lady.
I know.
I love that bit.
Yeah.
God.
And I love how like I really wish Soul Bad Guy was in it, because like she calls Ragna good guy. And if they should have a crossover. It's made by the same people. And he'd be like, "Ooh, you're the bad guy." That would have been so great. But I just realized what was the next one. Iron Fist versus Poe.
I remember not watching this.
This one is really, really good. Because I remember just when this matchup was like, wait, what? And then I kept thinking more about it. I'm like, it would be the funniest fucking thing if Poe wins. And guess what happened? Poe won.
Honestly, it makes sense if you actually bother watching the Kung Fu Panda movies. Like, Poe gets...
In the show?
And, he doesn't really get ridiculously strong in the show, but like at the end of the third movie, he's pretty
like full on Nirvana.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Iron Fist is some guy who fights people on the streets.
Yeah.
I think it's a really fun fight because like it even shows up like it starts with like Iron Fist like training, and like Poe is like, whoa, that was so cool, and then like Iron Fist is like cool, and he turns around and is like, oh my god, it's a panda. I'm the Dragon Warrior. Really? I'm the Dragon Warrior too. Let's fight. And they both fight. It's just like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a really good fight. This is another one that's like most like this is in my opinion of this season, probably the best one.
Next we have the Flash versus Quicksilver.
This one makes sense because the Flash is fucking broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Quicksilver's cool, but like the Flash is fucking broken.
The Flash is fucking broken. Yeah.
Well, it also depends on like what version of the Flash. But
It's
again,
a DC
it's
character in Death Battle. They're using all the versions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't remember Quicksilver's best feat, but it hasn't been travel time or make other people faster or like, I think in some interpretations astral project.
Yeah.
And like the Speed Force is known to do like a bunch of other stuff other than just make a person fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense.
It's a cool fight, and we'll get to something later, but there's a fun throwback to it. Or actually, before I forget, before I even forget, the Reverse Flash versus Goku of Black One, it was me, Barry, because he moves the statue in the way that kills him.
All right. Up next, we have Fox versus who the fuck?
Bucky, Captain Bucky O'Hare.
How do you know who this is?
Because the death foul.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
the only reason.
Also, his ship was named something really bizarre, and Boomstick said that's what he's naming his penis.
Yeah, this is a good classic one. I'll put it here, actually.
It's also
one of my favorite kills.
I put it in. I don't care.
Because I literally give 0 fucks about both these characters and their franchises.
Yeah, same. And I put it in. I don't care.
Yeah, now that I think about it, it's just
you know what,
a classic battle.
That death was really cool, but then
it was. Basically shoots off half his fucking head.
Yeah, but he like strangles him as well.
Yeah.
He like strangles and then shoot after his legs get blown off. Yeah.
It was also one of the first animations where I was like, wow, this animation actually looks really good. So.
Yeah. Next we got Krogor?
Olgor versus Sector.
Yes. This one I remember being really good.
It's good. My biggest complaint is the battle's like 50 seconds long. It's a very short fight. Like, it's as short as some of those really classic ones that were like, a minute long. It makes sense, the matchup. Fulgor obviously wins because Sector's cool, but like
Sector's a bitch.
Yeah, he loses a lot. He's a cool concept with his like.
Krogor is fucking awesome. Like he's the reason why I want to try Killer Instinct at some point.
Killer Instinct is home to a lot of cool characers. And it's a cool series. But Fulgor definitely wins this one.
Oof. Oh fuck. I just realized what was next.
Nope, another bad one.
Oh.
God, I hate this one. It's right there with Green Lantern.
Oh god, I remember this one. Oh my god.
Toph shouldn't win this.
Yeah.
Toph, I like Toph a lot as a character. I like Avatar. Toph shouldn't win this. What the fuck?
Okay, so what happened here, the reason why Toph wins is what I like to call Rooster Teethism, because it's said like in the behind the scenes like DVD collection have like commentary of the makers like describing that Toph can control other people's like sands or something, but it was never shown. It was never shown in the show, so it's not canon.
The other fucking thing
not only that, actually, hang on. There's something I want to add to that. Not only that, Toph has trouble dealing with sand. In fact, there's this whole part where they have to visit a library in the desert, and Toph is completely is practically useless because she can't deal with sand too well. And it's the whole point where Appa gets kidnapped while she's trying to keep the part of the library up so the rest can escape. Which, if it was the regular stone, then she would have dealt with both quite easily. So it's no.
She can't see in the sand. It's all muddled.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She should not have won this fight.
And not to mention that whole thing that Noah mentions. Word of God doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, no.
If it's not in the source material, it shouldn't count.
Yeah, it's just like Ironwood's semblance metal. The developers, I don't want to, developers isn't the right word, I'm thinking video game logic. The writers, if they say it's canon, if they say it's canon, but if it's not in the show, it's not canon.
Yeah, they usually go against Word of God, or at least most versus communities do, because if it's not in the source material, it shouldn't count, and Word of God can be literally anything.
Not only that, I vaguely remember them power scaling with Legend of Korra Toph as well, but this is clearly
not her.
Legend of Aang.
Yeah.
So it's
also, Korra is just a really powerful character. he's stronger than Toph. Like, again, Toph is a really cool character. She's really strong in her sword material, but Gara has literally the counter he needs for her, and it's not a good. No. Mm-mm.
Okay, up next we have Ganondorf versus Dracula.
This is the other one that Dynamite worked on, and this is another one that I really like.
Who won this one?
Dracula.
Okay.
And their reasoning was like the Triforce of Power is weaker than the dark energy that Dracula uses. Like his is basically like a universe, and they scaled the Triforce of Power to the creation of Hyrule or the Earth, so it's about like planet level. Not to mention like Dracula doesn't really die.
No,
He just kind of comes back, whereas Ganondorf is defeated and does reincarnated, meaning he died. So it was a really cool fight, and they also had the classic reference of like, "What is a man but a miserable pile of secrets?" You know.
Yeah.
It's classic.
Never watched it. Like both characters. B.
Yeah.
I don't remember it. No, I didn't watch it. That's.
All right. Next we have Hayachi versus Geese. I
Was
don't care.
good enough.
I don't care.
Good enough. Put it here. I mean, I don't really care for either character. If I'm being honest, I get the matchup. It's a cool fight, but like, put it down here. It's neat. It's like that that dorkly Sonic. Huh. Neat.
Oh yeah.
Next we have Godzilla versus
Gamera?
I think it was it was Gamera.
Yeah.
Another I don't
Classic
care.
kaiju matchup that I don't really care for kaijus, so boop.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to Leo versus Red Ranger.
I love the comments for this one because they were like, wow, there were 2 streaks that were broken. The first time a Power Ranger won, and the first time Leonardo lost.
That's right. Fuck.
It was a pretty good matchup overall. I did enjoy it. It's that again, going back to that classic matchup of like 2 iconic things in people's childhood. They were not my childhood, but I get why people like them, and I get both characters, and the fight animation was cool, and it was overall a pretty good fight, I feel.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just realized.
What? Oh.
What's next?
Fuck.
All right. Let's get the least inoffensive one out of the way first. Goku versus Superman. I'm gonna be honest. I give it a B.
Yeah.
I give the first one a B because
middle B.
Even though I don't think Goku would lose, it was an entertaining fight to watch. It was good.
It was a big spectacle. They kept building up to it. It fulfilled enough on what it was delivering, and I feel like it did what it needed to, even though I do also disagree with the ending, but I didn't feel like personally pissed off, I guess you could say.
Oh, but when we get to the second one, that's a bottom D. I don't think there's a worse one. I know there's one I bring up a lot by saying I hate that one the most. No, this one pisses me off the most because they falsify information to lowball Goku. The fight itself is bullshit, especially how it ends. And I really hate how they just got the Team 4-Star guys to do a little sketch by just saying like, you can't beat Superman, Goku. You have limits and he doesn't, which is bullshit. But yeah, and something that will. Okay, I know we glossed over the Samus versus Boba Fett one, but that was more like a remake than a redo fight.
Yeah.
So, and generally, round 2s are gonna rank lower for me almost in general because if you don't change the victor, then what's the point of making the thing? Like that's the one I hate the most. And if you just change the outcome, I'll accept it more. But if there's no good reason behind it, I'm gonna hate it more again. I just really hate this. Like I've watched a lot of like power scaling channels back in the day, and they debunked this whole video by showing that like they removed a few zeros to Goku's strength and speed just to make Superman look better. Like this is like the worst one, and I know like I think Sean, you told me that they regret making that one.
Yeah.
I also want to call bullshit on that, because then why is Goku and Superman on their banner?
It's probably more related to their first matchup, and it's such a big MU. But I know at least Ben regrets it, because when they were doing the Road to 100, he basically did a commentary on every single fight they had done up until then. And he was like, yeah, this one was not really that great. At least from what I remember. I could be wrong, but I remember him saying that he didn't really think this one was right.
The problem I have with it is, it's back to like the whole composite thing, where it's like, depending on what era of comic book you're looking at, it's essentially a different character.
Yeah, but that's what they do with their DC characters. So they just put them all together, like they're one entity.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I was curious about a few like of Superman's feats that they claim. Like I remember like one of the feats, just to judge his strength, was like he moved the planet Earth, which was bullshit because Green Lantern and a few other heroes helped him do it. And the part where he lifts the Book of Infinite Wisdom, which he failed to do. So it's kind of like, it reminds me of that one scene in Ruby where Yang's like, "We took down a Leviathan," and I'm like, "No, you didn't. That's just an obvious lie that you're trying to prove as truth."
Yeah.
They just really wanted Superman to win, and I don't know why they made this video, because I think the first one was fine. It was a good fight. Even if I didn't agree, I enjoyed the fight at least. But this one, there was no point to this fight, and it felt like it was a response to some Dragon Ball Z fanboys being like, "No, Goku should have won." So they made a whole video just
really
to prove them wrong.
Petty.
Yeah,
It really does feel petty.
and there's no better
honestly,
scene. I'm sorry, I'm almost done. There's no better scene than full power Goku using a Kamehameha, and Superman just walks through it. He just walks through the Kamehameha like it was like it's just a gust of wind.
If they redid this fight, I feel like they would have Goku win, because they've actually scaled him correctly now to essentially universal level. Especially since he keeps getting ridiculous feats, and now he has Ultra Instinct, so it's like, but
It's
this
like
fight is
the fact that Goku has limits is bullshit.
He has limits for now until he
mean,
breaks those limits again and again and again and again.
Yeah,
and again
Goku
and again.
breaks. Like, here's the thing: Superman has limits too. It's just they don't want to acknowledge it. It's just ridiculously high limits. Goku can just keep breaking the limits that he has.
He breaks his own ceiling.
Yeah.
Like, there's even a fucking quote in Dragon Ball Super: "That damn Goku continuously surpassing his limits."
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Honestly, to me, like, it depends what version of Superman. Because I feel like there's versions where like Goku could easily win, and there's versions where I feel like, yeah, Superman would still win. But again, it's really just like up to like what kind of like iteration you're going for, and I feel like that would be like a better matchup to put against. But I agree, this just feels petty, and to be honest, I've heard this debate in quotations go on and on that I just have a gut disgust reaction to it at this point, where I'm just like, I don't care. I genuinely don't care. You're making me hate both these characters more and more. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of keeping quiet on it. Like, I will agree this second one is bad. I agree that it's not accurate. I agree it's petty. but I'm just so tired of this.
Yeah, and it's just that like I don't know. They're two iconic characters from the East and the West, but like I feel like there's more interesting matchups that should get a treatment that people. It's just because they're the most iconic, and I don't know. It's. I generally don't care. It's just the fact that like the circumstances around it make it irritating.
Yeah.
So.
Alright, let's go from a big scale death battle to a low scale death battle. Yeah, Goomba versus Koopa.
I'm gonna go on a small note. Do you guys know what the DBX show is? Because they brought it back. The one of Goomba versus Koopa that they redid is ironically one of the coolest things they've ever done. It's so weird. It's so weird, but so ridiculously badass. Like it's Super Mario Brothers Z levels, but it's genuinely very entertaining. This one it's a classic, but it's just kind of there.
Yeah.
It's just there. I'll put it. I see, actually. It's a little underwhelming, especially when you go back to it and it's like you get why, but it's like why. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Up next we have.
I have a soft spot for that. I was just wanted to say I had a soft spot for this. I think it's super fun and goofy, and I like it.
Yeah, I like how goofy it is. It's just kind of there for me personally. I feel like there's better goofy fights. But
anyway, we got Green Arrow versus Hawkeye. Who won this?
Hawkeye.
All right, throwing in a Q.
You?
Yeah, I don't know.
This one was alright. I do feel bad that Green Arrow lost because I do like Green Arrow a lot as a character, but people also lowball Hawkeye quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they do show that one comic book panel where he's just riddled with bullets and then just walks away from it.
Yeah. And there's literally other points where he fucking like he shoots like ridiculous, like even greater than Green Arrow, like ridiculous feats of precision. It's just, I mean, it's comic books, but you know. Yeah.
All right. Up next we have Ghost Rider versus Lobo.
I thought this was a really cool fight.
I love this one.
I really like both these characters.
I love how Ghost Rider is one of the few characters that could probably beat Lobo.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing. Everyone thinks Ghost Rider is just like some demon character. No, Ghost Rider is like actually one of the scariest, and even like in base level.
Oh yeah, he took down Galactus one time.
Yeah, well, not only that, there's also a part where he goes he goes into like a hand-to-hand combat, in like quotations, I really want to say, with like World Breaker Hulk, which is one of the strongest versions of Hulk. This is a Hulk so strong that I believe in the end of that comic he picks up tectonic plates with one arm. And he goes toe-to-toe with this version of the Hulk with the human spirit still conscious, because that's a limiter. Just that limit being broken. Not even like the full like demon the demon, I forgot the demon's name, but the demon like coming out, but just the human getting knocked out creates like a napalm level explosion, and he just walks away. It's one of the extremely few, if only, fight where World Breaker Hulk ends in a draw. And that's base level Ghost Rider. We're not even talking like King of Hell.
And also, I really like both these characters too. I feel like they're both represented pretty well. It's also another one of my favorite like fight animations. One of my favorite parts is, I forgot the demon's name too. Technically Angel, actually.
Or Fallen Angel.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
But like when the giant explosion happens, as like both their powers get combined, and like Lobo's a ghost, and he's like, "Phew, oh man," and then like just you see the Ghost Rider head like spear him. It's like he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and it's like, oh, chills right there. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, and like when you go to like Ghost or Spirit, it's practically over if you're fighting Ghost Rider, because again, feeds off spirits.
Yeah. And also the fucking penance stare is like the worst thing that Lobo could go up against.
Yeah. And there's
Oh, the
actually an
people
even
he's
worse
killed.
version with King of Hell.
Yeah, it's a good matchup. It was a good execution overall. It was pretty. I'd go back to this one a few times. It's definitely a satisfying fight.
Yeah.
Alright, up next we have Who the Fuck versus Nightmare.
Guts versus Nightmare.
You don't know Guts?
No, I don't know who Guts is.
Berserk is like one of the most famous manga out there.
It's cool.
Yeah, I've never seen Berserk, but even I know Guts.
Oh,
Never heard of it.
I thought it was a pretty good fight.
Who won?
Guts did, and the reason is
Yeah.
because Guts fights creatures like Nightmare all the fucking time.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Also, his sword literally cuts through like the
just gonna-
spectral dimension or whatever, which is where the Soul Calibur exists.
Also, not
Or
only
Soul
that,
Edge.
but, like his armor just forces him to fight. Because there's
Yeah.
parts where like his bones break and are like sticking through his skin, but the armor just forces it back. So
Oh,
you
the
can still
Berserker
fight.
armor's Berserker
Yeah,
armor is so
see.
cool. It's definitely one of those like cooler like rage power-ups because like instead of like oh it heals him, it's like no, his body's still broken under there, but it puts him back together and keeps him together so we can keep fighting. And like that's so cool.
I like Nightmare. Well, design alone anyway, but like... I'm putting it at C because I don't know who the fuck Guts is. Never watched it. Whatever.
Watch the original or the movie. Don't watch the second the CG one. CG one's bad.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh, that.
Joe, don't worry. I'm not gonna watch neither. Anyway,
No.
we have Hagar versus Zangief.
This one's another classic. It's kind of like I do kind of like.
I don't remember this one at all.
It ends with them falling off a tower,
That's cool.
skyscraper.
Don't care.
I believe Zangief wins.
Yeah, Zangief won.
Yeah.
Because I just remember one of the future where they did like a Q&A, and someone asked if there's one where like they regret that this person won, and Boomstick says something about Hagar and his beautiful mustache.
Yeah, but look at Zangief's beard. I mean, come on. Just can't. Can't beat
He's
the
a be-
beard.
These are two very masculine men, and it's definitely one of those fights where you're just like, wow, this is doing it for someone, but not me.
Yeah, basically. Speaking of which, I don't know who either of these
What
guys
was
were.
next?
He-Man versus Lion-O? Really?
Yeah, I have no idea who these guys are.
That's because they're two classic like '80s cartoon.
I can
characters.
tell.
Yeah,
Oh,
but they
yeah.
had like a 2000s reboot.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
then He-Man has had the most recent reboot, which I
Which
heard
I
was
heard.
pretty good.
I heard it was god awful.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard it got mixed things. Because I've heard some people say it's really good, but I have heard the god awful. But I've heard more really good. I'm being honest. I'll put this D-ish. And I'm also getting to the point where I need
I
to
don't remember
scroll
this one.
now. And Jesus Christ, we still have so many more.
We're almost there.
Ah.
Almost is subjective. Alright. Up next we have Hercule versus Dan. This is a pretty classic one.
I really like this.
I
one.
love this one. I'm putting it at S.
Oh yeah, no, I love this one a lot. One of my favorite moments in this whole series is when Dan gets the jetpack and it's like boosting up and then it stops and
Yeah.
the way the voice actor is like, well, no, this is disappointing. Just the way he says that is so funny to me. Also, this is just a very
Oh,
funny fight.
God. I'm looking at the next two.
We'll get there, calm your tits. I really like this fight because it's a one-sided fight that makes so much sense, and it helps that because I don't like Dan at all, and Hercule is Hercule.
They're both losers, but one's a loser in a series where people can throw planets and galaxies.
Yeah, and the other is a
one's
loser,
regular.
just loser.
Yeah, the other one's just a loser.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking the fact that Hercule could rip a phone book in half, which I'm pretty sure like big bodybuilders can.
Yeah, I don't even think Dan could rip a piece of paper in half.
He can't even. He struggles to throw a
Not
guy over
only
his
that, you're
shoulder.
forgetting that, like, he ripped the phone book in half, like, after, like, pulling, what like, 6 buses or something?
Yeah,
Like,
with
Yep.
his teeth. Oh. And he karate
punched
chopped
through the
like
bus.
19 stone plates. He meant
Punched through the bus too. But he
Oh,
got stuck.
yeah. Damn. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he punched the hole through the bus.
Yep.
Yeah, like if Hercule was in the Street Fighter universe, he'd probably be OP.
Yeah.
He's just in the wrong universe. Yeah. All right, Nick. I don't pity you.
I hate both. Well, I'll get to.
Hulk versus Broly. My only problem with this one is that they're using both versions of Broly when the fight is using Super Broly. That's my biggest problem with this fight. But otherwise, I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I did kind of like it too.
I'll give it a low B.
You know what? Actually, the more I think about it, it's, you know what? This was pretty. It was pretty good. This next one though. Why?
I'll let you go.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. I get it. They're rage monsters. All right, from Marvel and DC. Yeah, cool, whatever. Doomsday's entire, like, part of his identity is that he's a creature that cannot die, and if he does, he will just come back and kill the thing that tried to kill him. Why put him in a death battle? It just makes, even like, no matter what character you throw him against, he's just going to come back and be able to kill it, because that is his entire character.
You're right, Nick. Saitama versus Doomsday. We finally got a matchup!
I hate you. The only way this fight makes sense is after the whole, like, you know, time that fucking Hulk was able to come back from the dead over and over. But even then, it just goes on forever.
Oh yeah, like,
cause
even then, yeah, you're talking about I know what you're talking about. I can't remember what the fuck it was called again. It was like,
I know I heard that comic was really good though.
It really is, but I can't fucking remember what version of the Hulk that was. But yeah, like even then, that Hulk was stopped from sunlight. It was like just like I think it was like UV rays stopped him from regenerating. Nothing stops Doomsday. Doomsday was teleported to the end of the universe where there was just no life, nothing. Still survived and was brought back and was like pulled out from that and brought back to modern times. Nothing kills this thing. It just doesn't make sense putting him in a death battle. It's like the definition of a one-sided fight.
Yeah. Also, always remember this one because the one after this is the one I really don't like.
Before we get to that, I just want to talk about this a little bit more. I get your perspective, but if they wanted to do a crossover animated thing where you know the good guy's gonna win, the bad guy's gonna lose, this would be a fucking amazing fight. I would think. Like I like the fighting concept and an execution. I think.
Here's another fight where I feel like to KO is
like
makes more sense.
Like here's the I agree with Sean, but like if you had like no comic backstory, like I don't read the comics, so all I see is Doomsday, who has been killed in the Justice League show permanently, and you got the Hulk, who is the Incredible Hulk. If I saw these two duking it out, no comics in the background, I know nothing about them. I just found out today, honestly, that Doomsday can never die, but if I just use my own knowledge of the Justice League show, this would be a really, really cool fight.
It is, but the execution makes no sense of why they would do it in a death battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he's the thing that killed Superman, because he's a creature that couldn't die. But
yeah,
that's not the power scale Superman. That's just to prove Doomsday, like.
Yep.
All right. Up next, we have Iron Man versus Lex Luthor.
I really like this one.
Yeah,
this one's pretty cool. I'll put it at B.
Makes sense why Iron Man wins. It's a cool fight.
Yeah.
It has the only good thing from I'll Know It .0, which is that fucking song as Iron Man's beating his ass with the